when it comes to writing, don't get discouraged by people not liking your writing or liking your ideas. Meaning when you tell people, oh yeah, this is my story, and you try to go and tell a bunch of people, don't take it offensive. Because here's the crazy thing. People are gonna hate your stuff before they love it. And I'll give you guys an example. Let's go to J.K. Rowling because she's one of my favorite women in the world. She's very inspiring. She got rejected multiple times when it comes to her story. Okay, she would go to editors. I mean, not editors. She would go to publishers all the time. They would reject it. They would talk about how her story is too long, you know, and how it's like not appealing, etc., etc. All right. And then eventually she got an editor, and then her book blew up. The thing about writing is people are going to hate your story before they like it, and they're going to reject it before they even read it. Look at it as like when you go out and you try to talk to a woman. Women usually reject you before they even get to know you or know what your intentions are. 9 times out of 10. They already have decided in their head, I'm going to reject you. And it's the same thing with writing. 9 times out of 10, people already know right off the bat that they're going to reject your stuff and not find it interesting, even if it is super interesting. Because that's just how people are. People are very disagreeable. People's mindset is negative. People don't really care about your dreams, your ambitions, and your goals. They don't really give a shit. I mean, let's just be 100% honest. But here's the secret. When you blow up, all them people who didn't really give a shit about your story to begin with, your novel and your writing, they're gonna flip and they're gonna start loving your writing and act like they loved it since the beginning, and they knew you were gonna get big, they knew you were gonna succeed, they knew you were gonna triumph. They're gonna be like, oh man, I always supported you. No, they didn't. People gonna hate your stuff first. So don't get hurt when people ignore you telling them about your novel, or you know they don't like you talking about the topic of your novel, or the ideas in your story. Like when you tell them, like for example, there's always the back of the book. Usually you tell people some surface level stuff to get them invested and interested in whatever type of novel or story, short story, novella, whatever the case may be that you're writing. A lot of people will be like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. But realistically, most people are not going to listen because they don't care. And you have to also realize that a lot of people are followers. So 9 times out of 10, they're not going to listen to it. They're not going to be invested in it. Even if the story is extremely interesting to you, people aren't going to like it at first until it blows up. Once it blows up, once it gets big, once everybody else likes it, then all the people who didn't like it are going to like it, because most people follow what other people like. It just is what it is. So never be discouraged because someone starts out not enjoying your story, not finding it interesting and ignoring your story. And they're going to probably eventually like it, once it gets big and once it blows up. And that's just how it is in society, and that's just how it is with people. People aren't going to like your stuff at first, then they're going to like it later because everybody else likes it, And understand that life is full of rejections, okay? Especially if you're a man. Believe it or not, men get rejected way more than women do in a lot of stuff. It kind of is the truth. So it's like, as a man, you can't really be too, you know, too butthurt or booty tickled about getting rejected. Whatever you do, you're gonna get rejected multiple times before you become a superstar in whatever category you're in. Women too. You're gonna get rejected. There are gonna be people that just don't really like whatever you're doing at first, because they need a bunch of proof first. People usually want proof first, versus trying to help you when you need help and trying to send you support and love and whatnot. Most of the time, people are not going to send you support and love. Most of the time, they're just going to be like, yeah, good luck, and that's it. That's all you're going to get. And appreciate the little things. That's more advice I would like to give is appreciate the little things. Appreciate the people that do put in a little bit of effort when it comes to your writing your novella, your novel, your creative writing essay, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you show the people that show even a little interest respect, because I'm telling you, most people ain't gonna pay attention to what you're doing, until it really pops off, till it really gets big, until everybody else likes it. And it's gonna be a hard process, because everything in life is a hard process. Everything in life takes an extremely long time before it really gets big, before it really gets put out there. Even like, for example, now I'm doing social media. I ain't getting no views yet, but I have like 300 videos, but I still ain't getting no views yet, because it takes a long time to get views. It just is what it is. So I don't really trip about it. I just enjoy, creating the videos, and I'm trying to get 100% completely comfortable with talking on a camera. Because when I'm alone in my room and I'm by myself and I'm just talking, bro, I can talk 100 words a minute. I ain't even afraid to say I talk to myself all the time. I don't give a damn. Shoot. I mean, you gotta talk to the realest person you know. But yeah. So I would, when it comes to upcoming writers, my advice would be, don't feel discouraged because nobody is paying attention or nobody sees you. Because that's just how it is when you're trying to get big in anything. Sports, writing, directing, creating YouTube videos. You're gonna have no attention for a very long time. It might be years before you really blow up, and before people really start showing you attention, and before you really shine. It just is what it is. A lot of things take a lot of effort with no, what's the word? Most things take a lot of effort with no reward. So don't feel discouraged, and don't stop writing simply because, it seems like no one cares. And like I will always tell you guys, whoever finds this video, hey, put your goals at the bottom of in the comment section. Put your goals of your and put descriptions of your novels. Put descriptions of your characters, the world building, the places, whatever you want to put in the comments section that you want someone to pay attention to. Tell me your stories and I will listen to you. I will be your best friend, your brother, whatever. I'll listen to what you have to say, because I do understand and go through the same things that you guys go through. For a long time I was showing people my novel, telling people about my novel all the time. I'd be like, oh, the characters are like this and the world is like this, and nobody really took an interest in it. Nobody really gave a fuck. The only people that kind of gave a fuck is my sister. Kind of cares, and one of my friends, he tried to read 2 or 3 pages. I give him credit for that, because he actually did try. Excuse me. He did try to read it. And then I had maybe I went with one of my friends to his friend's house, and I talked about it a little bit, and he kind of listened. But you can't expect for people to just listen to you all the time. Most people are not going to listen to you all the time, especially if it's just something that they're not really into. But you know what's really crazy? It could be something that they are into, and they'll still be like, no, I'm not really, I don't want to hear about that. That's what's even crazier. You would think that anime people would like to hear about my novel, because my novel is inspired by so many anime, like Pokemon, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Yu-Gi-Oh, etc., etc. So you would think that people would want to listen to it, but nah, not really. Most people still don't give a fuck. They really don't care, but it's actually kind of wild. You think they would, but they don't give a damn, bro. They ain't really worried about that, So never feel discouraged just because people ain't really paying attention. Most people ain't gonna pay attention, and most people have low attention spans. It just is what it is. And most people get annoyed by people who talk mostly about themselves. That's just how it is. Even though most people talk mostly about themselves. These people were walking contradictions. But I still want to go back to the point of just don't give up because it gets difficult, okay? Because the thing is, it's gonna get more difficult and more difficult. that's why it's considered a challenge, to be big, and to get popular, because it's something that's hard. It's something that takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of learning, and it's a very long process. So don't give up. Like, don't quit. If you're writing a novel, if you're playing basketball, if you're trying to be a director, trying to be a preacher or a teacher, whatever the case may be, don't give up. Okay, it's a lot of long hours. It's a lot of risky work. It's a lot of time, and it's a little reward. But the amazing thing is if you put in that max effort, it usually will. You will get what you need to get. If you put in enough work. Put in enough work, you usually get that big reward at the end. You don't really get no rewards in that in between gap. That 2 years that you're doing it, or the 3 years you're doing it, you don't get no rewards. But it's really that big reward at the end that you get. And just remember that it's all about the journey, and it's all about enjoying the journey, because you don't want to do something that just makes you irritated and stressed. So if you are writing a novel, a novella, whatever the case may be, don't write it because you're trying to get big. Don't write it because you want money. Write it because it's a passion of yours, you love it, and it's enjoyable, and you want to do it. And that goes for anything that that you want to do, that you desire to do. Don't do it just because you're like, oh, I want to be a millionaire or whatever. Even though me personally, I still believe I'm gonna become a millionaire. Like, I'm gonna always say that because I feel that in my chest. I'm like, you're gonna become a millionaire, bro. Like, it is what it is. If it's not in my writing, it'll be in something else. Like, I know it's gonna happen because I just feel it in my soul for some reason. And sometimes you can get discouraged by people. Like, you'll even have family members who will, like, discourage you. And I don't even think they do it on purpose. I think it's just more like they want you to be so-called realistic, right? They want to tell you, like, hey, you don't want to put all your time in that because it takes a long time. You need to get a job. Like, you'll hear that from a lot of different people. And what I realize is, like I said before, you have to kind of just follow your dream yourself. You can't really listen to other people or ask people a bunch of advice or ask people a bunch of questions, because 9 times out of 10, people are going to tell you from their point of view, and sometimes their point of view can be jealousy. Sometimes their point of view can be them not believing that they can do something, but you can do something. Me personally, I know I can do this stuff. But other people don't know that. Like, my self-esteem is extremely high. So I can't really talk to a lot of people because most people's self-esteem is very low. But, I mean, you can call me a narcissist or whatever, but I 100% believe in myself. So it's like, it confuses people, and they'll, like, try to talk me down, and it's really freaking strange and weird. I don't know why so many people do that. But it does happen a lot where you'll tell people about the stuff you're into, and they'll, like, talk you down, like, hey, bro, that might not happen. You might not succeed in that. But it'd be like, why are you talking like that? But again, most people's first emotion, most people's first thought is just to be negative, or to look from their point of view and look from their low self-esteem. So that's another thing. You have to have high self-esteem. And if you are a person who already has low self-esteem, you really don't want to talk to other people, because they're going to tell you some stuff that's going to make you feel even lower. You want to talk to the people with high self-esteem. That's why I tell you guys to come and talk to me, because I have high self-esteem, and I'm willing to talk to y'all and get to know y'all. And, I focus on trying to help you guys grow just as much as I'm trying to evolve myself. But this is just a video of me basically just saying, like, don't get discouraged. Don't think that you can't succeed in what you want to do, because you're going to have multiple people tell you that you won't succeed, and you're going to have people that ignore you, and it's going to make you feel down when people ignore you or zone you out. In my case, I get annoyed by it. But you have to realize, for one, doing something a whole bunch of times makes you insane. Alright, so don't do it more than about 2 or 3 times. After that, get over it, get in your bag, get in your designer bag, get in your mental bag, and just strive to do the best you can in whatever you want to get big in. Don't ask other people's advice on the stuff. It's just not going to help you. Just constantly figure out a way to learn, by getting some advice on the internet. I mean, there's millions of YouTube videos where you can get genuine advice from people who are actually doing what you desire to do. So I would say get advice that way versus asking, like, day-to-day people just randomly walking around, because most of them are just going to basically tell you oh, you should be careful because you might not succeed in this. Never really understood that. Uh, but I hope you guys are having a good night, bro. I think it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. You know how it'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning. You be getting like motivational words or inspiration. Yeah, it's 12:30, bro. So I just want to tell you guys that. I hope you guys are having a good night. Love you guys and take care. And remember to always follow your heart, your dreams, and your soul. Peace and blessings.